Okay, so good evening. I'm going to start with the class. We will cover the last lesson for this unit. And then we have the last two classes for the last three lessons, right? But today we have only one lesson for this unit again, plus one extra lesson for the speaking strategies that I was showing. All right? So let's begin. Everything is ready? Yes. All right, so this is going to be short. Again, it's important to keep practicing and to be sure that everything is clear. So it says participial or participle adjectives. These are very common, very important adjectives that we have to understand clearly so that everything again right is set for when we want to use them. She's boring and she's bored, right, is different. They are surprising and they're surprised as well. We know that they are not verbs, right? They are not actions, they are adjectives. So it's not that boring is happening now and bored happened in the past. No, this is not present or past. The name of the words, yes, the name of boring, right? We call the present participle and bored is the past participle, but that's the name of the word. But they are not in present, they are not in past, just by the words, all right? The words by themselves. This is telling us the tense, right? Is. But this is just a description. So if we say that she is this description, right? That's the characteristic that she has. If we say she's bored, she's this adjective, this description, we're saying that this is a characteristic that she has as well, all right? In a certain way. The same here, all right? But it has to be clear what is the meaning of writing ing with an adjective or ed. Okay, so let's take a look at that. First, participle or participial adjectives are adjectives that end in ed, past participle, or ing, present participle. But it is important, right? Sorry, it is not related with their tense. Important. There aren't adjectives that are in present or past. Adjectives don't have tense, right? Remember, this is what I said before. So ed then is not past, it is just feeling. We usually use, right, the past participle ending in ed to talk about how someone feels, for living beings, not for objects. I was really bored during the flight. It means that I felt in that way. I felt that sensation, all right, of being bored. That's what I felt, okay, being bored. Then she's interested in history. Again, to be interested in something, that's an adjective, that's a feeling that we got. That's how we feel with history, okay? That interest that we got is for history. Then John's frightened of spiders. Again, that's what he feels when he sees spiders. All right, he feels frightened. That's the idea that in all these cases, we can replace that with feel. I feel bored, she feels interested, and John feels frightened. All right, so ed is going to be what we feel, is the sensation that we got. But if you use id, is what you produce or what someone produces or what something produces, right? It's not a feeling. That's why this is not for objects. So let's read. We usually use the present participle ending in ing to talk about the person, thing, or situation which has caused the feeling. Okay, so something provokes, produces that, and that's the ing. All right, so it says, it was such a long, boring flight. So we're describing how the flight was. And when we say that it was boring, it means that it produces people to feel bored, right? That's the idea. That's why in parentheses, right, we have, so I was bored. Then I read a really interesting book about history. Again, right, interesting book is describing how the book is in terms of what it produces. Then many people find spiders frightening. And this is why, or why is this? It is because it produces that sensation, that feeling. But spiders make people be frightened of them because they are frightening. They can be dangerous, or I don't know, right? Many different reasons. So that being the logic of ed and ing, this is what we can do. The movie is amazing. It produces something, so I am amazed. I feel that. That girl is stunning, right? She produces that effect. So I'm stunned. I feel it. The class is boring. So I am bored. So the class is boring. It describes what the class provokes, produces. And so I am bored, right? That's what we feel, right? So once again, we're always following that logic. Just for that. Okay. Then, finally, right? They are surprising. That's what they produce. So we are surprised. That's what we feel. Okay, so again, that's quite important. It's essential for, sorry, it's essential for, let's say, giving ideas with participial adjectives. Because again, it's not the same. It is very different to say one thing with ing or ed, right? And again, it's common to make mistakes over there. But if it's clear, we know that if we want to describe something that we feel, we use ed, right? I'm bored, I'm surprised, I'm amazed, right? We feel that. But if we want to describe what something produces, we use ing, right? The movie is boring. That song, right, is interesting. So that idea with ing, frightening, alarming, or right, depressing, and so on and so forth, those are things that provoke or produce something in specific. And of course, as they are adjectives, they can be used for comparison, right? These participle adjectives make their comparative by using more, not er. Okay, that's common, and of course we heard that. It would be weird to use er. And they are superlative by using must, okay, not est. So I was more frightened of dogs than spiders when I was a child is an example of that usage. Okay, so that book is more boring than this one. So more boring, we don't say boringer, right? It's not good, it doesn't make sense. And again, that's a rule that we got. I think Dr. Smith's lesson was more interesting than Dr. Brown's. For 24 hours on the flight to Australia, comma, I was the most bored I've ever been. I think this is the most interesting talk we've heard today. And it was the most frightening film that he'd ever seen. So those are ways, right, of using these adjectives. To compare them, now we're going to read a list of them. So alarming, alarmed, amusing, amused, boring, bored, confusing, confused, depressing, depressed, embarrassing, embarrassed, exciting, excited, exhausting, exhausted, fascinating, fascinated, frightening, frightened, frustrating, frustrated, interesting, interested, overwhelming, overwhelmed, relaxing, relaxed, satisfying, satisfied, shocking, shocked, surprising, surprised, terrifying, terrified, thrilling, thrilled, tiring, tired. Okay, and that's the source. So that was the first lesson for today. Okay, again, very short, straightforward to the point. Now we'll take a look at the actual lesson for speaking. Okay, I'll start in a couple of minutes. So again, let's wait please, and we'll start the last extra lesson that we have for today. Okay, so let's finish today with this lesson. Speaking strategies 2, right? This is the second presentation for something we started, well, this course. And once again, this course then we're going to be taking a look at these strategies for well, improving in general, right, our speaking skills. So easy, right, things to do, but I am going to mention, right, besides just, let's say, the recommendations, a set of activities that you can, right, do by yourself so that you know how to practice this. So first, expand your vocabulary. It says, learning new words day in, day out is a good way to widen your vocabulary. Commit to a suitable target. It can be 3 daily words or it can be 10 daily words. And of course, something that you can do is look for 90 words or even more. It can be daily, right? And to record yourself reading the 9 words plus the definition that they got, right? Think. Think is a mind process that works like this and like that. So by doing that, you practice your speaking skills a lot. Okay, not only finding the words, copy, paste the words, no. You have to read them, you have to record yourself reading those words. All right? Then improve your pronunciation. You might know a lot of words, but if you fail to say them correctly, you will not be understood. Use online dictionaries with pronunciation, Cambridge, Oxford, and use English. Okay, so here, using these dictionaries is key. It is essential. If you are writing classes, doing something related to the language, you should always have a window opened with one of these dictionaries. In English, right? English actually is something very interesting. Let me see if we can find it. Okay, it is here. So I'm going to give you an example on how to use this. Perhaps you know it, but Euclid, right, is a place in which you can find a lot of things like words, phrases, idioms, almost anything you can think of in terms of the word, the phrase, or the sentence. And they find those words in videos, right, all around the internet, mainly from YouTube, to play the part in which they pronounce and they say the word. And you can divide this in accents, right? So if you say that, for example, okay, say, we're going to change to the US. Here, they are going to show you, all right, Testament. My mistake, that's why we don't have a lot of results. Now, they will play the part, and actually I'm going to share the sound of my computer. Give me a second. And let's play it.
Possible advertisement for your product.
Okay, so this works again for improving our pronunciation skills, but also to understand right when we have to use this word, how we have to use this word, and to be clear that we're doing it correctly. You can go back and play again.
Possible advertisement for your product.
Then once you got that idea, you go to the next one. Again, another video in which they are pronouncing this word.
Well, when people see a 5-star pool in an advertisement, they make assumptions about the rest of the hotel.
Okay, next.
Administration, and they were using creative accounting merely to justify their advertisements. And I became
Okay, so this was from the US, right? American accent, advertisement. Also, this is useful. Again, improve your pronunciation to know if you're using the word correctly in the good context in a good way. But besides, you can take a look at the differences in terms of pronunciation. Remember that here in the US, right, in American English, this is advertisement, right? Advertisement. But let's listen to the UK. I'm going to play some of them.
It's a massive ethical issue which is compounded by this horror. This is a regular advertisement in the London. It's a massive ethical issue which is compounded by this horror. This is a regular advertisement.
These were well known as Waterloo teeth as an advertisement. The idea was that rather than having
I applied for an advertisement in the Times newspaper.
Okay, so again, we can notice, right, one thing that is clear, that pronunciation, right, varies. It is different. Advertisement, US, advertisement, right, UK. So American English, British English, they have their variations. And English is a good way, right, to spot those elements. But again, the main idea, of course, you're not going to look for words that are pronounced differently. You can do it, of course, if you have that knowledge. But again, mainly it is to improve your pronunciation in general. And also, right, remember, it is going to be to check these differences that you can spot as you're practicing. All right, and again, learning how to use it, when to use it. So it's pretty useful. This is then English. Okay, I wanted to show you that apart from presentation. So those are elements that you can use to improve your pronunciation, using these online dictionaries with the pronunciation of the word, using English, and perhaps that's the best option. So in the activity, right, this is something that, again, you can do. Here, they are, well, right, the people in the class are supposed to listen to these audio files. And these audio files that, well, I practice with, they are from a script. All right, they have like a compilation of a lot of recordings from a lot of people around the world reading the same one or two scripts. It means the same words. and all of the words they can read, right? Those, because that's what you can do for practice. You can have some audio files, all right? Listen to them, give the script, and make them, right? Listen to that script when it's being read, right, by people from different places, right, around the world. But the idea is that then the person, right, in this case you, if you want to practice China, you are going to be reading that script, okay, being sure that everything is clear. And of course, that's just a very short activity that you can follow in that purpose. Then, learn the natural flow of English. This is very important. Being able to say individual words correctly is great, but the secret of speaking fluently lies in the flow of sentences. Whenever you read a piece of poetry, listen to a melodic song, or watch a hilarious sitcom, pay attention to the following. Linking. Notice how native speakers link words together, joining two sounds, making a sound to disappear, or changing a sound for a better flow, right? Give me, let me, gonna, gotta, should have, must have, etc. Contractions. This is clearly, of course, something that we know. Contractions are shortened forms of two words. For example, I'm, he'll, they've, and don't. Stress. There are stressed syllables in a word and stressed words in a sentence. That's important. That's just for emphasis. Then, and of course, not only for emphasis, right? It gives a very specific characteristic to the sentence, if it's a question or a statement, right? And where it is placed. It can change even the meaning of the word when we're talking about the stress in a word. It's not for emphasis, it's just the way it has to be read. And sometimes, again, the meaning changes. Rhythm. The rhythm is the overall result of stress, contractions, and linking. It is the ups and downs, right? The musical feature of English. So that flow, right? The stress in one word, in one part of the word, and all the things I mentioned, they are part of this, okay? To be more fluent in English. Now, these are some examples of linking, right? What do you changes to what do you, what are you, or watch it, watch it. What did you is what did you, or what did you, what did you in this case. I'm going to change this to I'm gonna or I'm gonna. And the T changes to a D sound, all right, in order to be more fluent. Instead of little, we say little. Instead of bottle, we say bottle. Instead of city, we can say city, right? Now, this is part of the practice. You can write a lot of sentences, all right, containing, of course, these contractions or these elements, so that we can read that at our own pace, following the rules that we got. Okay, so here, this can be something like this, right? Today, I'm gonna do some shopping because I gotta prepare something for my family. Do you wanna come with me? If you join me, I'll buy something for you as well. Okay, so using these contractions, using these abbreviations, using these elements is, again, key to practice these speaking skills. Let me introduce you to my family today. They're fantastic. You're gonna love them. Hey, you should have bought more milk. We already have some bread. Didn't you see it? Actually, I think it must have been a mistake. Why don't you check one more time? Okay, so once again, we're taking a look at interesting elements that can be reduced in time. Well, if we follow all these natural flows of English. Then speech shadowing. In a nutshell, this technique is about imitation. You listen to how a native speaker says something and try to copy. Pick your favorite video with subtitles. Make sure that it is something you enjoy watching, because you will. Listen to it many times. Listen to the video once and read the subtitles to get a good grasp of general context and flow. While you're playing it again, complete the next step. Imitate the narrator sentence by sentence. Play, listen, pause, speak, record. Right? Copy the speech, pattern as best as you can. All right. If you choose to record your practice, you can compare yours and the original. Or else, just listen to your own sound and be critical to difference, or sorry, to be critical of the difference or similarity. Repeat this step until the end of the video. Okay, and one thing that you can do, again, you have a video. In this case, this is just a segment and a part of the Friends series. But again, this is just part of the practice. We are supposed to choose 30 seconds from the whole, right, series, so that we can play that as part of our recordings. Here, I think that that's it, right? You have to record yourself imitating those 30 seconds, the 30 seconds that you can choose from that. Let's say, well, yes, your response to this idea, your imitation as part of the practice for this specific part. Okay? Self-talk. Talk to yourself in English loudly. It can be anything from a suggestion, well, like, shall we go get a glass of water? Or a reminder, I need to do a lot of laundry today. Okay, self-talk. It's important, again, few people do it. It's important to have conversations with yourself to practice that language. Now, something else, something that you can do is to record yourself and listen to your recording to see what it was able, right, to perceive, to capture, and, well, in that way, perhaps you can add something else. Think in English, right? In this case, we use in because we're talking about a language. It's not how it describes a word. Okay, something else. If you already think in English, it takes less time to produce or respond in everyday conversations. No translation needed, all right? A good way to start rethinking is to keep a diary, all right? Or diary, sorry, a diary, it's like daily. A diary where you express your daily, I was confused, right, with that. When you express your daily thoughts in English. It does not, right, have a perfect or have to be perfect, but it's more, right, about getting out thoughts in English with less and less effort. That's important, okay? Something that you can do. Think of your whole day and your activities in English. Then retell story. Take the challenge a step further. By retelling the story, you retrace the other people's line of thoughts in your own words. Well, it says, right, I would start with a familiar story from your culture. Your translation needs to convey not only the meaning of the words, but all the rhetorical and cultural nuances. Affirmatively, you can choose, you can choose different words to retell a simple story in English. Start from the basics, reading something like a fairy tale or a fable. Either way, right, will be beneficial to your English communication skills, all right, in general. The activity for that one, a student, right, will tell a story. That's the idea. And you have to record yourself retelling the story in, again, a maximum of 1 minute. Okay, we're about to finish. It says participate in public speaking events. Big universities, right, theaters and culture societies organize events like open debates, spoke word readings, and improvised storytelling. Okay, again, sorry. It's just that it's too late. This schedule is like, So, open debates, right, spoken word readings, and improvised storytelling gatherings. These are places where you can come and mingle with like-minded people and practice speaking English. Check the events page of your local university to see if there are any available. It might be a nerve-wracking experience, but it would be great for your English, right? And using apps. Another option is to use an app to talk to native speakers randomly in the comfort of your home. All right, so some popular apps are Hello Talk or Tandem. Basically, you register for an account, introduce yourself, your native language, and your hobbies. The app will find you some matches. All right, so once again, the app will find you some matches. The people who speak English at well, I'm trying to organize some ideas. Okay, so speak English and want to practice the language you know well. All you need to do is press right a few buttons and start talking. Now, here you have another element, okay, free forward talk. This is the last one, okay, but again, the recommendations in general. Everything you get to consume as part of your interaction around with the world, music, podcasts, movies, series, but it has to be introduced to the topics. It has to be part of the way we improve our speaking skills. All right, we have a lot of strategies. Some of them, and most of them perhaps, and once again, they are very simple and they are just saying something that we know. Okay, there's not a thing that is new about it. But again, here, the idea is applying this, knowing that this works, doing this sometimes is good. But to really improve the speaking skills that we want to have, we really need to practice daily and take these and more strategies into account. Okay? So with that, again, we are finishing now. I'll see you then the next one to continue working. The next one will start the last, well, the two last classes that we got for the last unit. And well, that's it. Okay, I'll see you then.